What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hammerdown Motorsports. Today behind me we have our 2020 Iron 883, and we're going to be doing an oil change on this bike today. Just kind of simply showing you guys how I go through draining the oil, putting a new filter on, all that kind of stuff, what we're going to be using for our oil today, and just getting this thing all serviced up and ready to ride once again. So right now the bike is cold, so we're going to take it outside and just fire it up, let it run for maybe 4 or 5 minutes, something like that, just to get the oil circulating, get it warmed up a little bit so it comes out a little bit easier. So I moved the 72 Dart and there was a little bit of an oil slick under it, so figure what better place to change the oil on the Sportster than right here on the spot of oil that's already on the floor. All right, so now we got it up on the stand. Just got one of these Amazon motorcycle stands just to get it straight up so it's not leaned over on the kickstand. And then we'll let the oil kind of settle a little bit. What we're gonna do is gonna pop our dipstick oil cap here. You can see we got a little bit of foam in there, whatever, from everything circulating around, but we'll just leave like that for the moment, and then we'll go down and find our drain plug and show you guys how to get that removed, get our pan under there and start draining this thing out. All right, so now we have to find our drain plug. And you can see there's a hose on mine, at least, right in this area here. If I can get my light stick somewhere. This hose here is what we need. And you can see I have a bag on here, so it's a little bit harder to see, but you can see the plug is right over there. So we're gonna have to fish that back through and get it down over to our drain pan, which is just an old jug that I cut the side out of, which makes it nice to get underneath on the low profile areas, but use whatever you want. So let's get that out of there. I'll show you guys how to drain it out. So here you can see this little horseshoe clip type deal. This actually holds this hose in place when it was wrapped around up there. So you just clamp that up here onto this piece of the frame, and then it keeps it up and out of the way. But now we've got it loose, so we can route it down to the bottom here, and all you gotta do to drain it out is get a flathead or a nut driver, remove this clamp, and loosen it up at least enough to be able to pull the plug out, and then your oil will drain out the bottom. All right, so we got our 1/4 inch nut driver here, which is the same size we need for our clamp. Loosen this guy off, kind of slide it up a little bit, and then we can pull out our plug, set that aside, and let our oil drain out. So as our oil is draining, let's check out our parts here real quick. We have a Harley Davidson oil filter. It's a 63805-80B. That's what they gave me anyway. And then we have some AMSOIL 100% synthetic V-twin motorcycle oil, 20W50, and we have 3 quarts of that. All right, so now on our filter side, we do have our pan below. I've got our plug in over there for our oil drain. And then we're gonna get rid of our filter, our old filter. And what I have here is just this little piece of adjustable plastic that is used to funnel the oil where you want it to go so we don't get it all over everything else. Hopefully this will work. This is, like I said, the first time I've done this on this bike, but this is usually a good go-to when doing oil changes with filters like this. So we're gonna get our filter wrench on there, and then we'll loosen this off and show you guys how the oil comes out of the filter when you remove it. That loosened off. These don't need to be crazy tight, and the last people that changed this was the dealer, so it looks like they did their job and didn't over tighten things. Unlike the Porsche dealership, which is a totally other story, but that oil change was significantly more expensive and they made a mess. But sometimes it's always nicer just to be able to do it yourself. This is an STP oil filter though, and it was done at the Harley dealer. So I don't know why they're not using Harley filters, but I'm just discovering that now. It is an extended life though. But I always try to put the Brandon filter on, just looks better to me, especially when it's one that is visible. So you can get a better look in there. You can see how the oil is actually able to drain completely out of the bike, no problem, by using this. This is an Amazon item. I'll try to drop a link in the description if you guys want to grab one of those, as well as this socket is also an Amazon item, which worked out really, really well, and you can use that for a bunch of different filters, so it's pretty handy. It's better than grabbing those little cup ones that you have to try to use like 4 different ones trying to find out which size it is. This one is adjustable, so it fits a ton of filters, which is pretty handy, and I don't think it was all that expensive either. So we'll let this drain down just a little bit, and then we'll clean off our surface and get our new filter installed. So now with a clean rag, I've got everything cleaned off on our filter mating surface, and then I do have a thin layer of oil on our new filter. The Harley filter has no markings on it at all, so thought that was a little odd, but that's just how it is, I guess. So we get this installed. I guess you want that clean look so you don't really notice it, but a little Harley symbol on there would be kind of cool, I think. But either way, let's put a little bit of oil in this. You don't want to fill it up crazy, I would imagine, because you don't want it to dump out when you try to put this in, but you do want maybe a little bit of oil in there. So I'm going to put a little bit in, and then we can install the filter on the bike. Go probably about that much, just so we got something in there. And then hopefully without making a mess, we're gonna keep it tilted right until the very end and get it on there. Nice snug. I'm gonna give it just a little bit more of a tighten as well. You don't have to go crazy with these things, but you do want them to be tight so you don't get any leaks. All right, so I have 2 quarts in already. We're gonna put our 3rd one in. I'm not gonna go all the way with it. I'm probably gonna go a little over half just so we can top up to our mark once everything is circulated. I've seen guys start these up at 2 quarts, you know, stuff like that. But we're gonna go a little more than that. It says 2.8 online, so 3 probably wouldn't be too terrible if you put all of it in, but we'll check it and see where we're at. Make sure you watch your oil light, make sure that's not on. My oil light's off, so we're good. For a few minutes there, or not even, like 30 seconds, whatever, just to get that oil circulated through. We do have a little bit of oil over from our filter that it missed our little green gadget over there, but I already brake cleaned that off. I was looking for new oil dripping and I don't see any of that, so that is a good sign. And make sure you don't have any drips where we did our drain plug. Everything looks good. We'll give it 5 minutes or so and then we'll check our level, see where we're at. So now after sitting for a little bit, I just open this up so you can get a level. You can see where we're at. It is slightly on the low side, so just grab that again, just so we have an accurate one for you guys. That's where we're sitting right there, probably halfway up. So, I'm gonna put the rest of our oil in. Just know that it will show higher if you have it on your stand at level than if you have it on the kickstand. And yeah, as you can see, that looks nice and full, not over full. I like it. We're all serviced up now, and just gonna let it run a little bit. Move it onto a clean spot of concrete and let it sit for a little bit just to make sure we have absolutely no leaks. But I'm fairly confident that everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And for the few minutes that it takes, honestly, this is a whole lot easier than taking it to a dealership. It's easier just to go to the dealership, get the parts, and take it home, because we all know they like to charge a whole lot to do this job, and it's really, really simple to do. So there it is, everybody, the oil change on the 883 Iron. Pretty simple stuff. It's all good to go. No drips anywhere, which is exactly what we want. Always keep an eye on that oil light too when you're starting it up to make sure that you do have oil in the engine, because obviously no oil is no bueno. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Definitely drop a comment in the comment section. And as always, keep that hammer down.